Today's lesson is all about English job vocabulary and expressions for people who work in real estate. This is the perfect opportunity for you to learn basic and intermediate English vocabulary for talking about work and to brush up on your professional English. Hi, I'm Jenny from Real Estate English Academy. This channel and the courses that we offer on our website, which I've linked to in the description below, are made for real estate professionals with English as their second language who want to learn or improve their English to help their career. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a video. Let's start out today's lesson by answering the question, where do you work? It might sound like an easy question, but there are several different ways you can answer it. I work at. I work for. I work in. I work with. Let's take a closer look at when to use each of these prepositions. If you want to include the name of the company you work for in your answer, you should say, I work at or I work for plus the name of the company. Examples: I work at Real Estate English Academy. I work for CBRE. You can also use I work for if you work directly for a well-known person. Example: I work for Steve Jobs. I'm his executive assistant. Let's move on to the phrase, I work in. If you want to talk about a place, you should use I work in plus that place. Examples: I work in an office. I work in a high-rise building in downtown Los Angeles. I work in a factory. You can also say, I work in a city or in a country. Examples: I work in Berlin. I work in the UK. And you can also work in a department. Examples: I work in the research department. I work in the valuation department. You should also use I work in if you want to talk about a general area or industry. Examples: I work in consulting. I work in asset management. I work in human resources. If you want to talk about the things or people that are involved in your day-to-day work, you should use I work with. Examples: I work with computers. I work with real estate investment funds. Now, if you want to add a little bit more detail when talking about where you work, you could use the phrase, I am responsible for. Other phrases that you can use but mean the same thing are, I am in charge of, or my job involves. Examples: I am responsible for publishing quarterly research reports. I am in charge of hiring new staff. My job involves showing properties to potential buyers. Did you notice? We use the ing form after these phrases: publishing, hiring, and showing. Okay, let's do a quick recap before we move on. I work at a company. I work for a company or for a person. I work in a place in a city, in a country, in a department, or in a general area or industry. I work with people or things. In colloquial English, the question, "Where do you work?" is commonly phrased as, "What do you do?" or "What do you do for a living?" Don't let that confuse you though. You can always answer with one of the I work phrases that you just learned. Or, if you want, you can respond by saying, "I'm a" or "I'm an" plus your job title. For example, "I'm a property developer," or "I'm an advisor." But how do you answer this question if you currently don't have a job? There are two simple answers. You can either say, "I am currently unemployed," or "I am currently between jobs." If you are currently between jobs, you might want to add some information to your answer. Here are a few ways to talk about possible reasons why you might not have a job at this moment. I went back to school and am currently a student. I recently had a baby. I'm a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad. I'm on parental leave. I'm taking a year off to write a book. If you work for yourself, you could say, "I'm self-employed," or "I work as a freelancer." If you own your own company, you could say, "I'm a small business owner," or in my case, "I own a translation agency for the real estate industry and a language platform where we help real estate professionals improve their English." Let's move on to the next part of this lesson, where you will learn how to describe your job. Let me give you some different ways to talk about your work. My job is interesting, or my job is exciting. I love my job. I find it very rewarding. If you say your job is rewarding, it means you are satisfied with your job and your work makes you feel good. My job is quite challenging. Although the word challenging can be used as a way to express that your job is difficult, it typically has a positive connotation. Saying that your job is challenging means that it's difficult, but you're up for the challenge. Some words that have a more negative connotation are, "My job is tough, tiring, or demanding." Or, "My work is rather dull, boring, or repetitive." The word dull can be used as a synonym for the word boring. Repetitive means that you have to do the same type of task over and over again with only very little variation. Okay, let's move on and talk about some essential employment vocabulary. After you officially accept an offer for a new job at a company, you are hired by that company. Example: I was hired by JLL as a transaction advisor. Once you're hired, you become an employee at that company, and the company becomes your employer. The other employees at the company are your co-workers or colleagues. The person above you who is responsible for supervising the quality of your work is called your supervisor or boss. Example: my supervisor asked me to check with my colleagues and find out if we all have time for lunch on Friday. Maybe you get hired on full-time, which typically means 40 hours a week. Or you might get a part-time position, which is typically around 20 hours a week. Some companies offer flex time, which allows you as an employee to set your own schedule. At some companies, the employees might work shifts, which means that their hours aren't the same every day. Instead, they work a certain block of hours that their supervisor schedules in for them. Sometimes you might need to work overtime, which means you work extra hours in addition to your regular hours. Examples: I work full-time as a property appraiser. When I was in college, I worked shifts at the local grocery store. I love the fact that my company offers flex time. It helps me juggle my personal and professional life. The deadline on the project was tight, so we had to work a lot of overtime. In English, we typically use the expression to go to work when we want to talk about traveling to work. Once you're done with your workday, you get off work, which means you leave work. Example: I go to work at 8 o'clock. I get off work at 5. The word commute refers to the amount of time that it takes you to get to work, maybe by car or by public transportation. Example: I have a 15-minute commute to the office. Some companies allow their employees to work remotely. Employees can work from home or at any other place with an internet connection. When you work remotely, you communicate with your coworkers by phone, email, or video conference. Example: everyone at my office has been working remotely since last March. We have a video conference every Monday to discuss the details of the upcoming week. As an employee at a company, you earn a salary, which refers to the money you receive on a monthly basis for your work. If you are a salaried employee at a company, we say that you are on the payroll. Examples: I've been on the payroll at Knight Frank for 10 years now. I just applied for a high salary position. I have a lot of experience, so I think my chances are good that I'll get the job. If you perform well at work or overperform, you might get a pay raise or a raise, which refers to an increase in your salary. In some cases, a raise is also connected with a promotion, which means that you move into a position with more importance and authority at the company. At the end of the year, some companies give their employees a bonus, which means extra money for work well done. Examples: I have my review next week. I've been working very hard and putting in a lot of overtime, so I'm going to ask for a raise. We landed some large volume deals last quarter, So I'm really looking forward to my bonus this year. If the company you work for forces you to leave your job, you can say that you got fired. Employees can get fired for a number of reasons, especially if they do something that harms the company they work for in some way. Example: Jessica was fired because she never came to work on time. If an employee gets fired for more neutral reasons, let's say because the company they work for is experiencing financial difficulties, we use the expression to be laid off. For example, Peter was laid off because his company didn't have enough business and sales plummeted. If you decide to leave your job on your own terms, there are 3 verbs that you can use to talk about your decision. You could say, I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to leave my job. A more formal way of saying this would be, I'm going to resign. When an older person decides to stop working, the verb we use is to retire. The retirement age in many countries is between 63 and 68. If you're this age or older and you've stopped working, you can describe your situation by saying, I am retired. I would love to hear from you about where you work, how long you've been with your company, and what kind of job you do. Let me know in the comments below. To learn more about our courses, check out our website at www.re-english-academy.com. You can also join our group on LinkedIn. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to let us know that you want us to keep making videos. Have a great week.